Thank you, Angus, for having me here. I'm very happy to be here with you. Today, I will give you an insight in the evolution in QUALICOAT that has been going on for the last few years and the way forward that we want to go. Okay, first I would like to share some thoughts with you about QUALICOAT. What are we? Who are we? Also have a look at the organizational structure. How do we reach our innovations, because we're quite innovative. A few words on specifications. I'll show you some figures and give you an idea on how we see our priorities for the future. And all that in 15 minutes, I assure you. Okay, so back in 1986, a few powder coating associations who were in architectural powder coating were interested in reuniting their efforts, and they created QUALICOAT. So the idea was to share technical information, implementing innovations, ensuring testing instructions, and developing market awareness. And now we're more than 35 years further down the road, and QUALICOAT still works with those priorities. So we're still focused on maintaining the quality of coating of aluminium in all of its alloys for architectural purposes, but we've become global. Because in the beginning, QUALICOAT was merely European, but we received so many inquiries from people outside of Europe that we decided to open up our association for the world, and that's what we did. So now we're based in Zurich. We are accredited, and also we have become the leading brand for as far as quality labels on coating of aluminium is concerned. So we've been through quite an evolution. I said we're accredited. Well, that happened on March the 3rd of 2020, which was a very important step for our association. It was one of the most strategic steps that we took in the history of QUALICOAT. And it's one of the great achievements that we had under our previous president, my predecessor, who has been president for 10 years, Mr. Mo Panam, who is present here. So that's one of the achievements we had when Mo was president. It's not the only strategically important thing that I would like to share with you, because more than 15 years ago, something terrible happened, in fact, and it occurred first, as far as I can remember, at the coast in France, because suddenly a lot of buildings started corroding. Aluminum buildings started corroding, and it was so serious that a lot of French insurance companies refused to insure any buildings anymore that were at the coast in France. So that was a disaster for our industry. And that's where QUALICOAT really put his money where his mouth is, because we've shown there that we have technical know-how, that we have resources to come up with great things. And what we did was we developed several interesting and very detailed studies on the phenomenon, and we came up with a solution for the problem, and we called it Seaside. Okay? And Seaside, in fact, holds 3 different ways of protecting your aluminium in risky areas and at the shore. So that's something we did that was very important for the entire industry, because with that problem, it could have been a disaster for the aluminium business in facades. So that's one very important thing we did. And then there was also QUALIDECO. QUALIDECO is also created more than 25 years ago, but QUALIDECO gave the aluminium industry the possibility to compete with the wood industry, for example. Not only because of not only for the material, but here also for the way it looks. Because with QUALIDECO you can make aluminium look like wood, for example. So this opened up perspectives for the entire architectural branch in aluminium. And now we've come to the next very important strategic step for QUALICOAT, which is QUALICOAT 3.0. I'm not going to elaborate on this because my esteemed colleague and friend Dr. Motta will do this later on. I'll just put it here because in my opinion it's again a very important strategic step that QUALICOAT is about to take. Okay? I say about because it's still in a project phase, but it is becoming more and more concrete. And if you want more information on it, you can simply contact your general license, UK, Ireland, and they can give you all the information you want on this. So but the point is the following. We see more and more recycled aluminum coming into our businesses, which is logical. If you also look at Europe, the Green Deal, etc., we're all forced to do this. We have to recycle. And aluminum has a fantastic capacity to be recycled. So we should really capitalize on that. But at the same time, there's a very big risk in this. That is that we cannot control the alloys anymore. And therefore, I'm also the president of ESTAL, the European Association of Surface Treatment on Aluminium. And also there we've been working together with chemical suppliers, with powder suppliers, with extruders, and with QUALICOAT to find a solution for this problem. And then QUALICOAT took it up as part of the future specifications. And we went on our separate road to develop these new specifications. So we found out that we could create about 3 new tests that we could incorporate in a later state officially in the QUALICOAT specifications. And that will make sure that the aluminum, if it is primary or secondary, it is not important anymore. If the aluminum will pass those 3 tests, you can be sure that there will be no problem when you do surface treatment on it. So this is a huge step forward again for our industry. And talking about these strategic steps we've been taking, I have to tell you something that and I really feel it, it comes from the heart. I have the impression that powder coating is not seen as important as it in fact is by the industry. I mean, powder coaters, they turn aluminum into something sexy and they turn it in something safe to put out there. So without powder coating, the aluminium industry would by far not be where it is today. And that I really wanted to say once more because I'm also a powder coater and it comes from my heart. So sorry if I nag about it, but for me it's important to say it. Okay. Now we've been doing some we've been taking some strategic steps. We're innovative. But how do we do this? How do we go about in this process? Well, it all starts with our organizational structure. We have a general assembly, the general assembly that are the general licenses. So that are the people in the different countries. We have an executive committee with a president and a president-elect. So the president-elect is elected 1 year before the normal president reaches the end of his term. And we have a secretary general, in fact, who runs the association on a day-to-day basis. And he's supported by a QUALICOAT certification body where we have 4 people for the moment working day in, day out. We have other committees, a QUALICOAT committee, a technical committee, and not so long ago we also started with a board of governors. That board of governors contains or consists of previous presidents and a few people of the executive committee, and the idea behind it is that if you only have two big meetings a year of your executive and technical committee, there are a lot of things that have to happen in between those meetings, and there the board of governors plays its role. And we also follow up on the work of the secretariat and the certification body. Now, below all that, below the technical committee, there is the engine that drives the innovation of our association. And we come to that in a minute. Looking at our members, I told you that in the beginning, QUALICOAT was a European association. Well, this has seriously changed in the meantime. We are present with general licenses in 25 countries. And next to that, QUALICOAT Secretariat directly manages 24 countries. In total, over 50 companies. Why is that? Well, that is because in all these countries, we're growing, but we're still too small to establish a general license. And therefore, we have the Secretariat to manage this. And here we come to the core of our innovative process. We work with working groups, and those working groups, they tackle specific topics on which they report on a periodic basis to the technical committee. The technical committee then discusses on the topics. If they agree on them and they want a decision to be taken by QUALICOAT, then that goes to the executive committee that takes the final decision. That's how we build our specifications. We also have a marketing working group now, and then I come back to the opening statement of Chris, which makes it clear that we really do need some marketing to make sure people understand what QUALICOAT is about. And by doing this process, we develop our specifications. Our new specifications are on the website, and twice a year we are completing them with some update sheets. So it's middle of the year and beginning of the year. Okay, so it is clear that powder suppliers, chemical suppliers, and the coating company need to be acknowledged as being, or need to be QUALICOAT approved, and then you get a license. Just some figures, because I only have 2 minutes left. The licensees, they have been growing rapidly, and they, despite the big C word of the last few years, the situation has been rather stable. So we see that about 1/3 is, or 2/3 is European, but we see a little growth in the others. Also, the different powder classes, we see an evolution. Class 2 is growing, and class 1.5, by the way, that was developed specifically for Australia, because there they have specific UV circumstances, and that's why we needed to do that. Pretreatment systems also stable at about 94, 95. Here we have QUALIDECO. QUALIDECO, there are two ways of doing this, which is called powder on powder or sublimation. And you see that the sublimation technology, where you put a kind of wrap around the profile, and then you burn it. That's the way most of the people do this. In the past, the QUALIDECO film supplier, they came traditionally from from Italy, but now also in China, some people are starting to develop this, and also the powders which you need for QUALIDECO traditionally came from Italy. But also there some other countries are going ahead now. So for the future, we want to grant more general licenses in the new countries. You've seen that for the moment we have to manage too many countries directly. Quality, very important. We are focusing on the anodic pretreatment in our specifications, and also the inclusion of the aluminium alloy. So that means that we are aiming for a QUALICOAT certificate for extruders. And we're doing marketing, which is one of our priorities for the coming years, because we really want to put QUALICOAT out there. Just one remark, if you're interested in the annual report of QUALICOAT, you can have a look at our website, and please note that the annual report is available for you. Thank you.